Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into Lael Lowndes' fantastic book, How to Be a People Magnet. We're going to break down her blueprint for building real, powerful human connections, and it all starts with one simple, but honestly, pretty profound idea.
So the book kicks off with this really powerful question. It's not about your car, not about your health, it's about something way more valuable. Do you have friend insurance? And it's designed to make you stop and think, to really take stock of your support system for when life inevitably goes sideways.
And this whole idea of friend insurance, it actually came from a really tough time in the author's own life. She went through a period of severe depression and realized her entire world would have just collapsed if it weren't for two very specific friends. So this isn't a policy you buy with money. The premiums, they're paid with your time, your personality, and your love. Okay, so if that's the goal, building this amazing insurance policy, where do you even start? Well, according to Lowndes, it all begins in those first few seconds of meeting someone. It starts with mastering the art of the first impression.
The absolute bedrock of all of this? Empathy. Lowndes tells this great little story about a salesman named Dale. Someone called his number by mistake, and instead of just snapping "wrong number," he'd say, "Oh, I'm so sorry you just wasted your quarter," right? By just acknowledging their tiny little frustration, he instantly turned a complete non-event into a positive human moment.
And this idea extends to something as simple as a smile. Lowndes argues that the quick, automatic, polite smile we all do, it's totally forgettable. The real magic is in what she calls the slow spillover smile. Just picture a baby's grin. It's not instant, right? It kind of slowly spreads across their face and just radiates genuine warmth. That's the stuff that creates a powerful, immediate connection. And this right here shows you exactly why those nonverbal things are so incredibly important. According to a study she brings up, a whopping 50% of how people perceive you is visual. It's your body language. 30% is your tone of voice. That leaves just 20% for the actual words you say. Think about that. Most of your message is sent before you even finish your first sentence. She even breaks down the perfect handshake, which is such a key signal of confidence. It's not just a gesture, it's a whole thing. You've got to maintain eye contact, make sure the webs of your thumbs touch, apply just a little bit of gentle pressure. This is how you avoid that dreaded, limp fish handshake that just screams zero confidence. But, and this is a huge but, there's a major catch to all these techniques. If you just perform them without any real feeling behind them, if that slow smile doesn't actually reach your eyes or your handshake feels totally robotic, it's gonna backfire big time. People have this incredible radar for insincerity. It can come across as manipulative or, honestly, just kind of creepy. The goal is to consciously express the warmth you actually want to feel and share. Of course, knowing all the right moves doesn't help one bit if you're too anxious to actually use them. And that brings us to the inner game. How you can conquer that social fear that holds so many of us back. Lowndes has a great name for this common anxiety, the FUD factor. It's that little nagging voice in your head, the one that's full of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's the voice telling you not to go up to someone or that you're going to say the wrong thing. We all have it. The secret is learning how to fight back. So a really powerful first step is to just shape your environment. Lowndes tells this amazing story about an Olympic skater whose performance was just stuck in a rut until she made one single change. She cut a constantly critical person out of her life. The effect was immediate. It was like night and day. It just goes to show how much the people around us can either build us up or tear us down. The next weapon you have against the FUD factor is your mindset. So after a social situation doesn't go perfectly, instead of beating yourself up, optimists ask a different question. What can I learn from this? A study she mentions found that salespeople who had this learning-focused mindset were way more resilient and, get this, they significantly outperformed their peers. And to fight what she calls smoovophobia, which is a great word for the terror of small talk, Lowndes has these quirky but really practical exercises. Like, try the Emperor's New Clothes trick. Just walk into a room and pretend you already know everyone there. Or, hey, get a funny-looking dog. They are natural conversation magnets. The whole point isn't to be weird. It's to build your social muscle through these low-stakes, everyday reps. So you've nailed the first impression. You're building up your inner confidence. The next stage is all about depth. How do you take those initial connections and turn them into something really meaningful, into lasting bonds? This is where Lowndes introduces what she calls friendship's first commandment, and it's such a powerful shift in perspective. It's about moving away from just passively hoping people will like you and taking on a much more active role. Basically, to receive friendship, you've got to have something to give.
And we're not talking about material gifts here. We're talking about what she calls growing my gifts. It's about figuring out your unique talents. Maybe you're great with computers, like her roommate Phil, who was always selflessly helping people with tech problems. Or maybe you're just a fantastic listener. By generously sharing those skills, you become a really valuable, almost indispensable part of someone's life. You earn friendship by being a gift to other people.
Lowndes also offers some, let's call them heuristics, for navigating communication differences, which she often frames along gender lines. Now, these are broad generalizations from her own observations, not hard and fast rules. For example, she suggests that men often prefer to process problems internally, so just giving them space can be a lot more effective than pushing them to talk. On the flip side, she observes that women often process things verbally, so asking directly what's wrong can be seen as a real sign of caring.
Okay, this all builds up to the final stage. Taking these individual friendships and actually weaving them together into a proactive, lifelong support system.
First things first, she says to completely reframe the whole idea of networking. Just forget that word. It sounds so transactional, right? Instead, think of it as sharing your gifts. The focus immediately shifts from what can I get out of this to what unique value can I possibly give? And that creates a foundation of mutual exchange and genuine support. And that leads to this really cool concept of your personal round table. This is about consciously recruiting your own team of knights, a diverse group of allies and experts. And we're not just talking a lawyer or a doctor, but maybe a super reliable mechanic or someone who knows their way around local media. But here's the absolute crucial point. You recruit them by building relationships and making deposits in that friendship bank long before you're in a crisis and need to make a withdrawal.
And this network isn't just about professionals, it's also hyper-local. Lowndes really hammers home the importance of your neighbors. She asks, what if your car breaks down? What if a fire breaks out while you're on vacation? In a real emergency, your neighbors are the ones who can provide that immediate critical support. Investing in those relationships is a vital part of your policy.
So the big takeaway from all of this, the most crucial point, is that being a people magnet isn't some magical, innate gift that you're either born with or you're not. It's a learned skill. It's a set of conscious choices, techniques, and practices that literally anyone can learn and put into action. It's a contract you make with yourself to prioritize human connection.
And so we end right back where we started, with that same provocative question that Lael Lowndes asks her readers. If you had to make a claim on your friend insurance policy today, right this second, how well covered would you truly be? It's a pretty powerful question to think about. Thanks so much for joining us on The Explainer.